Next, we have the incredible Vincent D'Onofrio. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Hi. Hey, everybody.
Thanks for coming, guys.
We're not in Nashville. I could get away with it here, couldn't I? You guys are taking shots. I know you guys. You got something you want to say about Elvis too, don't you? I know you've seen the movie. You know something's wrong with that movie. You're going, wait a minute.
So, Mike, you've been on the show Evil,
Yeah.
right? Actually, what are the things that you find? What's the one interesting thing you found in your research? To be a priest, like what's one thing that you've gotten out of your research that you were like, I had no idea about?
All of it. I had no idea about any of it. Catholicism is new to me. I'm from the South. I grew up as a Southern Baptist, and what they do, baptize us in water. If anybody's familiar with it, throw you back in the lake, river, a big well of water. And that was what we did. And then you come up and you're reborn as a Christian or whatever. That was my thing. Holy water, the Our Father prayers were similar, slightly different. The confessional stuff is really weird to me because, you basically can do just about anything and then just say you're sorry. And then you get another chance. But no, it's a lot of pageantry that was introduced to me that I find challenging, but I do like it because it's beautiful churches. Beautiful. The clothes that the priests wear. And I've never seen a black priest, so that was always intriguing to me. I was like, I've never seen a black priest. So that was really cool. But I'm a Meisner guy. And I love method, but I did not sleep in any rectories. I did not hang out with priests and sit with the nuns and any of that stuff. I just I imagined it all, and that's how I played it. Yeah.
Vincent, you did many seasons on Criminal Intent, and I feel like you envisioned that character as a modern day Sherlock Holmes. Like I really do feel like that character had so many layers and cadences. What was your approach to getting to that character and like creating it? Because it's an amazing character to watch you sort of go through the case and like pull the strings and stuff.
Oh yeah? So first of all, the major case squad was the squad that my character was from, Kate and my character. And so that's a real place. It's in One Plaza, downtown New York, which is in the judicial system of the city. And so there's one place called One Plaza where it's the major case squad, and they handle anything between state law enforcement and the FBI. They handle all these high cases that are not quite federal, but so they can go from anywhere from kidnapping to, as long as they're done in New York, in the state of New York, it can be kidnapping, all kinds of. It can cover murder, narcotics, everything, as long as it's these so-called high-end crimes. So their patch, every law enforcement or military people has a patch, right? So their patch is a silhouette of Sherlock Holmes. Like that's the actual patch that they wear at the Major Case Squad in New York. Yeah. As far as the way that I approach the character, the thing that Dick Wolf and I, what I said to him is I said, I love the character. I want to play him as a guy, not a cop, like just a particular kind of person with a badge, and so I was able to, with his agreement, with Dick's agreement, I was able to go in any direction I wanted to. I could be, I consider him to be slightly on the spectrum, and autism and people on the spectrum have been very close to my world since I was a child, and so I wanted to explore that a bit, and so that was sort of my approach, and so the storylines were very Sherlock Holmes, but the guy, and also the character of Sherlock Holmes was also a tainted character himself, and so I wanted to bring something unique to the man that I was playing rather than the cop that I was playing. I don't know if all that makes sense, but I
No,
think
it
it
does.
answers
Actually, no, it does.
Spider-Man, Swamp Thing, Batman, and Batman, Swamp Thing and Batman.
When you do like real treatment teams, because that's part of the conceit of that panel, when we're talking about this, when you're doing like real like clinical work, but you use the word like, you use the sentence, Batman as collateral. Batman's not something that often comes up in treatment team. So it's a little surreal when we prepare for these panels where you're taking Batman clinically very seriously. You're like, that's not something that usually happens in the office, but this is what I'm going to pay for it. Interesting. So, yeah, that's sort of my deal.
This has been a series, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about the series and where that came from before we pass it on.
Yeah, just a lot of people who do the Night at Arkham panel worked in an inpatient setting, and as a nerd, I was like, oh, so this is probably what it's like to work at Arkham, and I would be like, well, there'd be other caveats, and then we got like, I was discussing with somebody who were like, what would it be like to be at Arkham? And I'm like, oh, that would be a really interesting panel, actually, and then so it was. But this one was where like sometimes we can't put it like in Night at Arkham. Sometimes we just want a character, and we wanted to talk about trauma for a while. We might do a Night at Arkham doing a treatment plan for Batman at Arkham, but we just wanted to talk about trauma, and Batman is a fantastic lens through which to talk about that. So that's sort of where this one came from.
Yeah, so the series has been the characters of Batman as potential patients. Because you come up with treatment plans for them, which is very cool. And I'm going to pass it on to continue intros.
Hey everyone, my name is Maddie. I'm a therapist at Art It Out Therapy Center, so I use a lot of expressive arts in sessions. I'm also fully licensed as well, so this is my first time being on a panel, so it's super exciting. Batman's been through it, so I definitely need to talk about it and see how we can just help this poor little guy. But definitely if you have any questions on how you can use like expressive arts and therapy or how to utilize it as coping skills, I'm that girl for it, so yeah.
Go ahead. I'm Katie Easton. I'm also a therapist at Art It Out. I've been at Art It Out for about 3 years, but before that worked with youth in foster care and also with children who've experienced sex trafficking. So definitely have had some trauma background and have been licensed as well for about 10 years. So, first panel. Also, this is like my first time at DragonCon officially. So I'm very excited.
Hi everybody, I am Alexis and I will echo 3 of them. I am also a therapist at Art It Out. I'm a clinical social worker. My specialties include play therapy and trauma. So I'm passionate about both. This is also my first time at DragonCon in general, which is so fun. And I'm really passionate about this topic because I have worked for years and years and years with both kids that have trauma backgrounds and women that have trauma backgrounds. And so it's cool to think of it through the lens of Batman and how as a kid, trauma can really affect the trajectory of your life. So I am so excited to be here.
We are so excited to have all of you and to have this conversation. This is going to be amazing. A couple of reminders that I'll also say at the end. If you like this panel, please rate it in the app. It really helps to have future panels like this or just to get feedback, constructive or otherwise. Before we jump into the topic, I want to ask the first timers, because there's a couple of you, how has your first DragonCon been? Great!
I am new to Atlanta. I've only lived here for a little over a year, and so it's been really cool. I feel like this is a whole new world that I'm experiencing, so I am very happy to be here.
I used to actually work in the Peachtree Center Towers, and so one of our favorite things to do after work one of the first days on the Thursdays was to come and watch all the costumes and people arriving at DragonCon. We would just sit at the bar, so I'm very excited to actually be in DragonCon.
And they feel like the world's sort of set up against them. I have a lot of people talk about feeling like world was on their shoulders, kind of Superman kind of thing. People talk about in continued recovery, that's sort of like a Tony Stark of this is who I was, but this is who I want to be, and I need to stay that course. Reflection of the narrative is important with adults.
I think that's one of the aspects of the superhero narrative too, is that they are superhuman, but any good superhero narrative needs to be relatable. You need to see the humanity in them and relate to that, so I agree, it's powerful.
Going forward.
Sorry about that, I was talking to Dom. He's just there. Then Dominic.
Oh, Dragon Con, you guys are the best! It's just incredible, your creativity, your friendliness, your passion. This is the best convention of them all. It's so great, it's spread amongst 4 hotels. It's insane! Is it 5 now?
I was just saying, I just went to the restroom, I was just saying, imagine just staying at the hotel but not being at the convention and being like, what the hell is going on? There's a guy dressed as a monkey, there's a guy dressed as an upside down clown, what's going on? A couple of days of business. I bet.
I can imagine. Well, hi everybody.
There's a bucket with the pee and the poo. This bucket has to be emptied occasionally, otherwise the trailer will explode. And there will be shit all over the zoo. We don't want that. So this guy is part of the crew. That was part of his job, was to, you know, empty the buckets of however it works. I'm not a scientist. He was emptying my one, which I have never peed or pooped in. But for some reason, it was packed full of pee and poop.